Good morning, this is Gina at Art of Skincare. Welcome to my show this morning. We're going to be talking about facial wasting. That's where we see fat pad loss, collagen loss, and the skin just begins to lose its matrix and its Velcro. It loses everything that holds it up and in place. So I want to talk a bit about that today. There's a lot of confusion around that, and you know, as a holistic esthetician, this topic is one of our most challenging topics. When we're working with a client, when we see facial wasting, it's the hardest thing for us to work with. So over the years, I've constantly been on the alert, looking for things, testing different things, and trying and seeing what really works. So today I'm going to be showing you what I share with my clients and how I get the kind of results that make me happy and make my clients happy. So first of all, let's talk about fat pad in the skin. So between the ages of 10 and 20 is when we have the most increase in those fat pad cells. And if you think about it, when you think about that 10-year-old, those nice rosy or nice plump cheeks that they have a lot of fat pad, and it's very healthy. And usually it's so funny because at that age, I can remember my daughter Madeline, who had these beautiful plump cheeks. She didn't like her cheeks. She didn't want those plump cheeks. But you know, when she gets to be 60 like I am now, she's going to be wishing and wanting, oh yeah, I want those fat cheeks back. So we are so funny as humans. We either don't like what we have, or then we're sad when we lose it. So 10 to 20, you're getting more fat pad happening. Once you hit 50, that's when you start seeing a decrease in that fat pad. And what happens is you start to see some hollowness next to the eyes. You can get sunken areas around the eyes or a hollow looking eyes. The top of the nose loses its fat pad, and the cheeks can become hollow and lose their fat pad. But what happens is that fat pad just doesn't go away. It kind of slumps down. So then all of a sudden we have this extra fat accumulation kind of down in this area, and the nose is particularly annoying because you'll lose this fat pad here, but then the tip of your nose starts to grow, and so you have this extra fat pad at the end of the nose, so the nose gets a little bit longer. It's a crazy thing, the things that happen to us as we age. So really protecting that fat pad becomes crucial. There has been a lot of confusion going around about what causes fat pad loss. So let's dive into that a little bit. First of all, fat pad loss happens with aging. It's just a natural part of aging, and it has to do with our hormones in our skin. So it becomes important to balance our hormones, eat really healthy foods that balance our hormones. And I have some topical products I'm going to show you today that help balance the hormones in the skin so we don't see that loss of fat pad and collagen happening as much, especially from menopause on. So extrinsically, the things that happen in our environment that lead to that fat pad loss or that wasting of the skin are yo-yo dieting, too long and intense of exercise. Think about long distance running. If you're a long distance runner, you're hitting that pavement, pounding. That's hard on the skin. You get inflammation, and you're also getting a lot of UV and environmental damage, and sometimes even pollution damage. When you have a lot of oxidation going on in the face and pollution, smoking, all of that leads to a degradation of the cells, and it leads to what I call a degradation of that bio-Velcro. There's like a bio-Velcro holding everything together, and when it gets attacked by UV damage and pollution, it just starts to fall apart, and you start losing that nice strong Velcro, and it starts happening. So like we always say to you guys, right, over and over again, so important to think about your sunscreen, wearing hats. Nowadays, you're seeing more and more workouts where they're shortening down. We used to do those really long, intense workouts. We're finding now that you can work out 20 minutes, sometimes even 10 minutes every other day and still stay in really great shape. You can walk You don't have to be pounding the pavement and running. You can do a nice walk. All of those kind of things are healthier for your body than putting it under a really intense amount of stress doing a really hard workout. Now, I'm not saying that if you are one of those triathletes, don't do it. Do what you love. We all need to do what we love and what brings us joy and happiness. Just being aware that you might need to increase your antioxidant protection on your skin. You might want to be extra careful with your sunscreen and all of those things that help protect that collagen layer. I've worked quite often with postal carriers. Postal carriers aren't running, but man, they can be under stress. Stress can cause fat pad loss and collagen degradation, but they are under stress. They're walking everywhere a lot of times, and they're getting a lot of sun. And so I've seen it in postal workers quite a bit where they're seeing a premature wasting of the skin. And when we see that happening, I'm just getting on it with internal antioxidants, external antioxidants, and lots of sunscreen. So we're going to talk now about the kind of things that you can do to promote a plumper, healthier skin. One of the things that I used to do a lot with my clients is send them to acupuncture and go and get an acupuncture facelift series. Usually they'll do the series once a week for several weeks, and then you're in once a month after that, and that can be very effective. And if you have access to an acupuncturist and you don't mind having needles in your face, that can be a really good support mechanism for you. Some other support things that we found, and why I developed, where did I put it here, is I developed the TriWave. This has a special microcurrent. This has a special microcurrent. It has different waveforms. One of the waveforms is specifically for increasing the fat pad, the collagen level, and really increasing the density of the skin. And so that is your rejuve setting. So microcurrent can be very helpful if you're using the right kind of microcurrent, and the right waveforms can be very helpful for protecting and rebuilding the density of the skin. Ultrasound is also found to really help with increasing skin density and stimulating the fibroblasts and things to create more collagen and to protect the skin. So I know a lot of you guys have the TMP, using the wave, the curve, all of those. Their ultrasound that's in those can be used on small doses daily to help keep that skin really healthy at that deep cellular level. So let's also talk, since we're in that cellular level, let's continue there and talk about supplements that help with the collagen and the density of the skin. So for sure, what I want to start with is talking to you about Collagen Love from Hum. They have a special bioactive form of collagen peptides in here that when you take it, it actually stimulates your collagen production. So that's going to help you to have better, healthier collagen in your skin. This is different than taking a collagen supplement where you're taking a tablespoon or something and drinking it like that. This you don't need to take as much because it's a special form of those collagen peptides that actually stimulate your body to create that collagen that you need. Another thing that I love, can't live without this, is from Pure Encapsulations. This is called, I'm just stumbling over my words today, liposomal glutathione. So glutathione is a very helpful ingredient in your body. It's going to stimulate collagen production, elasticity, and it's also a brightener. So it's also going to help depigment if you have dark spots in the skin. But liposomal glutathione also needs to be accompanied by vitamin C. And so I have two forms of vitamin C that I love. One is Ester-C with the flavonoids, and then one is liposomal vitamin C. The liposomal is not my favorite, but it is my favorite for people with sensitive stomach and who can't swallow pills. This works really well. The Ester-C with the flavonoids is what I really love for the skin because it too, well, both of the vitamin C's will do this, but with the addition of flavonoids, it's amazing for your skin. It really helps the matrix of the skin to be stronger. It's going to help with dark spots, especially if you get those dark spots on top of your hands as you age. This takes care of that. So taking this with your liposomal glutathione every day is going to really help protect your collagen and stimulate your collagen from the inside out. So a couple of products I want to show you. There are not a whole lot of products that get in there and actually stimulate fat pad, but we do have a couple. So I'm going to talk about those today. One is from Hop. It's called Caviplla. Caviplla has an ingredient, a botanical ingredient in it called volufiline, and it is actually, the botanical ingredient is actually mixed into an oil base so that it goes in and it actually stimulates fat pads. So what it does is it's going to stimulate more fat pad storage. It's going to plump up the fat pad that you already have. And what else am I missing, Lauren? I know it does so many great things. Increases the size of the fat pad so much. Increases the size, increases the production, and smooths it. We were joking about this earlier, and smooths the look of your fat pad as well. So we use Caviplla all over our face, and we use it on our neck and chest, and everybody sees a big difference in their skin when I add this to their routine. When nothing else is working, this is what we will always pull, and it makes a beautiful difference in that smoothing and plumping of the skin. Now, many people get the hollows under the eyes. That's where the Promoter Repair Eye Cream comes in. This is also from Hop, and this one I love. This will get right in there and plump up this little area where you can tend to get that hollowness under the eyes or that sunken. This also has the volufiline in it. I also use this on my lips because the lips also need some filling. They tend to lose fat pad as well. A couple other things here that I have to touch on are the Emepelle products. We add these into the skincare routine once you're 45 and over. This has a special ingredient in it called MEP, so it actually interacts with the hormones in your skin so that your skin keeps producing collagen. So we need that collagen. Collagen and fat pad work together to give that skin its plumpness. So this is really going to help balance out the hormones in your skin so that your skin is more youthful. It actually even helps to regenerate damaged collagen and to rebuild collagen. So I've had clients start this when they're in their 70s or 80s. They've already had so much collagen loss that started back when they were 45, but when they start using this, it actually does start rebuilding and repairing and adding to their collagen levels. So we have a serum that we use during the day for that, and then the cream at night. And I have to tell you guys, I'm always experimenting. So one of the latest things that I've experimented with is actually mixing, because I like to be quick. I don't like things to be hard. So I take 2 pumps of Caviplla and I mix it with 1 pump of the Emepelle Serum. And then I apply it to the skin, and it still foams up beautifully. Caviplla has an amazing oxygenating carrying mechanism that carries the product down into the skin. So mixing those together, rubbing it on, and then what you're going to do is grab your ultrasound device, whether you have the Wave or you have the TMP or the Curve, and you use that on the lowest setting to work that foam and work that solution down into the skin. And it really, combining that with your ultrasound is a very plumping, wonderful experience. Now, I do this also with my TriWave, And so when I'm using my TriWave, I put on the same thing, mix my Caviplla and my Emepelle together, put it on. I'm grabbing my thing here, and then I'm using my TriWave connected to the Milelift. And I will do some of that lifting and firming on my skin using the TriLift, using Educate. You can come in and you can use this to work in the skin as well, doing some lifting and holding as well. And then, I'm all over the place this morning. I'm sorry, you guys. My brain's going crazy. So, let's back up just a tiny bit. So when I'm using my TriWave and I've got my foam on my face, I'm going to use it on Rejuve setting. And on Rejuve setting, I'm going to go in and I'm just going to use this to work that into the skin. Then I go in afterwards, put on a little bit of my promoting collagen gel. I got it right here. Promoter collagen gel. And then I'll come in and I'll do my lifting. And so doing that lifting portion. But many days I'm grabbing my wave or I'm grabbing my TMP and I'm just quickly working that foam into my skin, and then I'm good to go. And it's keeping my skin very healthy and glowing and plump and juicy. And let's open up for questions because Gina's got a crazy brain today. Some days it goes really well and other days I'm like all over the place. Fat pad loss is a big topic. We can open up to more things. Let's have some more questions. Let's talk about other causes of fat pad loss. Let's see how it goes. So Lauren's going to come on over here. Pull your chair over so we can hear your questions. Lauren, come join me.
You want me on camera?
There, as long as we can hear you, but I love having your face on too. If Ben wants to get your face on here. No, she's like, no, forget that today. This is not that day.
So, Lisa says that she had radiofrequency microneedling that damaged the fat on her cheeks.
Okay.
And it also changed the texture in her skin. She's not sure if there's anything she can do.
Sure. So that is one thing that we did not talk about is what kind of modalities can actually cause fat pad loss. So when you go to that really high level professional strength of RF radio frequency, it's not regulated well, and we do see problems with fat pad loss with that. When we use the curve, it's calibrated properly and it's not that strong. So we don't see fat pad loss with this RF device, but you've got to be careful where you have RF work done, who's doing it, what kind of background they have, what is, where are they getting the machinery that they're using. You know, there's a lot of RF devices available on Alibaba, on Amazon, and you can get them pretty inexpensively. And so people want to go do that, spend a couple $100 on a device like that. The problem is they are not regulated well. And some of them, many of them are too strong because people want instant results. And so then the companies, the manufacturers just make it as strong as they can so they can sell more of them, but it's not good for us. So it sounds like what you had was the needling along with that RF, and yeah, that's pretty strong and pretty intense. I do think that you can use the Caviplla. Is going to help with that, rebuilding that fat pad. I don't know that you're going to rebuild it to what it was, but using the Caviplla with the volufiline, that is going to help, and then doing some other things that are going to help stimulate those fibroblasts, stimulate that cellular energy. So picking up a TriWave, using that TriWave every day, using some light ultrasound. If you have the TMP, turning it on its lowest setting. Don't turn it up higher than that. Let me grab my wave. I love the wave because you don't have to worry about overdoing it. You're going to get a nice steady stream of ultrasound, but it's not too strong and there's no RF in this. And so you can use this every day without having worries about side effects and things like that. So definitely adding in some of these things like the liposomal glutathione, that's going to go right to work at the cellular level and really spark your cells to be healthier and to be regenerating. And so whether it's a fat cell, a collagen cell, skin cell, all of that is going to be healthier when you're taking the liposomal glutathione. And just be sure and take that with your vitamin C as well. Then looking at your lifestyle. If you are out in the sun a lot or even a little, sun is still going to be very damaging for you. Pollution, all of those things. Using good antioxidant serums. This is one of the best sunscreens. I'll show you guys. This is all mineral multi-protection face and body sunscreen from Hop. It's the makers of Caviplla. I love this because it has in it the polylactic acid. It has all the growth factors in it. It has royal jelly in it. All these things that stimulate healthy fibroblasts in your skin. So it's going to give you that protection that you need in a natural mineral block, but it's also putting some really good ingredients into your skin. I use it for my face and I use it on my body. A lot of people reach out to me and say, do they make a Caviplla for your body? Well, kind of they do. And that's what this sunscreen is. It has a lot of the same ingredients in the sunscreen. Is it going to be as intense and as plumping? No. It doesn't have the oxygen carriers and all the other ingredients that are in Caviplla, but it's still giving you a really nice boost and really great ingredients that you can put on your skin to protect it from the sun and protect it from damage from UV, pollution, smoke, and all of that kind of stuff. Okay.
Beautiful. The next is from Andy. Opinions on M-Face procedure to plump the skin. M-Face is a laser procedure.
So I'm not an expert on this, but what I have found my 20 years in the industry is that lasering generally it stimulates, it creates inflammation in the skin. So when you have a laser treatment for the next year, you're going to have this inflammation going on while your body is repairing all that damage that's under there. And so for the next year or so, it's going to look plump because there's all this activity going on. But what happens after your body feels that healing is done as much as it can do, then all of a sudden you start to see more sagging and more dropping than before because you've done a lot of damage and then repairing, and then it just starts to go back and is often worse than when it was before. And I guess what I have to say is that we're all guinea pigs when it comes to that lasering. You know, lasering that we were doing 10 years ago, they're not doing now. If you're having that done, there are no advanced studies. There's nothing showing what is your skin going to be like 5 years from now, 10 years from now. They're all like, oh, we did this and a year later, it's still looking pretty good. But almost everyone that I've ever worked with who's having laser treatments, they have kind of that rebound effect. It looks good for a while and then it's depleted and then you got to do it again. So you have to do what you're going to do, but use caution, do your homework, be cautious. For my own face and body, I don't do lasering. One thing that we didn't talk about in today's show is that one of the most popular things to do when you have facial wasting or that fat pad loss is to go in and have injections. You can have dermal fillers with hyaluronic acid, different things put into the skin to lift and plump that. And I'm not against that. You know, if you want to go in and do that, go do it. What I find with that is that it's also in that same way, it's kind of damaging to the skin. So we're going in and we're doing that lifting, but then the skin often suffers. So if you're getting fillers, don't use that as an excuse not to take really good care of your skin with topical products. So it's kind of a trend that people either use the good topical products like their Caviplla and all that, or they get fillers. And what I want to say, if you're getting fillers, still use your Caviplla. Use those other things with it because they're going to prolong the filler, prolong the youth of the skin, and they are going to go to work on the surface health and the cellular health of your tissues. When you go in and get a filler, it's not working on the cellular health of your skin. And as a holistic, I can't say it today, as a holistic esthetician, I'm looking at what's going to make our skin healthiest from the cellular level out. And that's the kind of solutions that I'm looking for. I'm not looking for quick fixes and band-aid approaches. So for me, I choose not to do fillers, I choose not to do lasers, I choose not to do Botox and those kind of things. I want to just let my skin age naturally, but as healthfully as I can. Great.
Very popular question. How does the MyoLift QT compare to the Mini?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is a great one. Lauren just made a video on this for you guys, and we'll have some more coming out. So, some major differences. Let's first just talk about waveforms. So, your QT has two waveforms. It has a release waveform where we're releasing that tension in the face, muscle tension, and then it has a building wave or an educate wave. What's it called in the QT? Firm. They call it the firming wave. So that's where we're working on firming the skin. So there's just two waveforms in that. Now with my TriWave, we have three waveforms. So we have the same, that lifting, that releasing, and then we also have a rejuvenating wave that's working on redensifying your skin. With the Clairblend Mini, the technology is a little older. So what they're doing, and there's other, I shouldn't say older because there's another popular microcurrent company that just came out with a new device and they're doing the same thing as the Mini. And so they're doing a variable current that's just all over the place, up and down, and their hope is that one of those waveforms will be the right one and will do the job that you need. And so it's kind of a hit and miss. Where with MyoLift, we're taking microcurrent really to that true next generation, and we've done the science to find out which waveforms are the waveforms that you need to do the work that we want to do. So the Clairblend Mini, it works, but it's giving you these random forms, and with the hopes that one of those forms is going to do the trick. Now the next difference is that with the QT, you can connect probes, and you can connect things like the Milelift, which has these wonderful little probes that you can use. I like them for lifting my eyebrows and my droopy eyelids, and it also connects to this device, which is so handy. So the QT can do that. The Mini does not connect to anything else. It just has its own built-in two probes at a specific distance, which can be a little tricky if you're trying to work on the lip area and you can't move those probes. That can be a little tricky and will affect the outcome, where when we get in here with these, we can get in really close and we can do the exact movements that we want because we can move these around. So it's a little more customizable. So that cover it?
I think so.
No, Lauren says, yeah, you got it. Yeah.
And then I'm not familiar with ProCell as a company, but do love microchanneling. So thoughts on microchanneling for helping with collagen and plumping skin?
Absolutely. So microneedling, we know that that is a collagen induction. It's not going to induce fat production. So today we were talking a little bit more about what's going to induce that fat, but it definitely induces collagen. What you've got to be careful with needling, it's the same thing that we went through when I first started out in the industry 20 years ago. You know, peels were the big thing, right? Everybody was going in to get peels, and they'd go to the doctor's office and get peels that were so bad they'd have scabs, and it would take weeks before you could go back out in the sun. And over time, so we overdid it, right? So over time, we're learning that too much is not good. And so now when we do peels, we are doing peels that do not cause scabbing and inflammation. We know now that inflammation causes aging. So why do something that's going to cause a lot of inflammation if in the long run, after the skin heals, we've had so much inflammation that takes us in the wrong direction. So now when we do peels, we're using safer substances, gentler substances. We're not looking to actually flake as much off of the skin. We don't want to have that redness and swelling. Well, it's the same thing with our other devices like we talked about, like RF. We go to the extreme of, we want RF, I'm going to get the biggest, strongest one I can get, and then we damage our skin. So the same can be with ultrasound. We can just do too strong of ultrasound or microcurrent. Now there's this whole craze going on with microcurrent where we're seeing a lot of very inexpensive EMS devices. EMS is an electromuscle stimulation, and that is microcurrent, but it's taking it so strong that you're really feeling that zapping and pulling on the skin, and that's too strong. So we're like, no, yeah, that's really cheap to make a device that does that, but that's not the waveform that you want. It's not the kind of microcurrent that you want to do that deeper work that you want. So it's the same thing with microneedling. We have taken it now from, you know, gentle rollers is kind of where we started, to where we had machines, little handheld pens that did the microneedling, till all of a sudden the doctors got on board. And then we're having vampire facials where they're using bigger needles and putting your your white blood cells on your face and pounding it in. And all of that just, and then we had the RF needling that we talked about earlier. It's just taking it too far. So come back, go to the smaller needle size, go to where you don't have to be numbed up to have the micro channeling done, and you'll get better results. Anytime you're doing a microneedling treatment and you get a lot of swelling, bleeding, redness, you are causing inflammation. The old school teaching is that when you create that inflammation, your body's recharging and repairing and rebuilding, and so it's going to be healthier. But that's not the truth of what we found out over the last 20 years. The truth is that when you create that damage and that wound and the body has to go to work on it, yeah, for about a year, it looks great. But after that, when the body's done sending all that healing energy there, then it's more depleted than it was beforehand. So when you're doing your microneedling, my encouragement is to stay below 0.3. 0.25 is great. Stay below that unless you are having something really specific done. Maybe you have some boxcar scarring from acne, then I've seen some really good results with that. But most of the time, when they start coming at you with a needle size 1, it's going to leave some scarring. You're going to have texture issues after that. You're going to have little scarring issues. That is not friendly to your body. So yes, I like microneedling, microchanneling, all of that. I just like to see it done on a gentler basis and with the right ingredients and right products. So is that pretty good?
I love it.
I do kind of know about ProCell. I've seen it in action. I haven't tried it on myself. I'm just, because I'm not into that aggressive of a treatment on my skin. My choice, yeah.
The next is, what are your thoughts on Skin OS01? It's a skincare brand.
Oh yeah, I've seen that ingredient. It has like one ingredient.
They have it looks like a proprietary peptide.
Yeah.
And like hyaluronic acid, niacinamide base.
Right. I think it's way overpriced for what it is. I can't remember now because I've done some research on it. And I wasn't impressed. It's just another way of remarketing something that we've all been using. But, you know, the proof is in the pudding. If you go and you try it and it works for you, then great. But I think that's all I'm going to say. I don't like to put down other companies, but I research everything. And when they come out, I look into it, and especially when they get real popular like that one, just one product that does everything, and I'm like, okay, I'll check it out, and I wasn't impressed with the science behind that.
And Joseph, always helpful,
Yes.
says, keep the pure encapsulations liposomal vitamin C in the fridge. It's better when it's chilled.
Oh.
I'll have to
Good
try that.
advice.
Yeah.
Thank you. Makes sense.
And Janice is in need of a tinted sunscreen
Okay.
for a 62-year-old. Any recommendations?
Yes, I love Is Clinical. I like the Eclipse in the beige. But I guess I need to know your skin tone. So Is Clinical Eclipse Beige is kind of a little bit of a lighter, it's a little pinkier beige. I love that in the wintertime, but in the summer, the Extreme Protect from Is Clinical, there's a beige in that formula as well, and that's more of your golden beige, and I tend to like that when I'm, getting more sun and a little more tanned. So those are two that I really like. If you have drier skin, one I just live in, especially when I'm not at work, on my days off and I'm just putting it on, is from Sorella Apothecary. It's called Dewdrops. Those dewdrops, you apply them with a little brush. Beautiful finish, erases all the lines on the skin, wonderful ingredient deck, and wonderful colors. And what you need to know about their colors is they tend to run pretty pigmented. So you're going to want to choose one, err in the side of a little bit lighter rather than darker with those Sorella Dewdrops.
Janice said that she's pale olive tone, so I think that the Eclipse beige would work well.
Either one will work great for you. I'm kind of neutral. I have a little bit of yellow in my skin, and I can use either one. So I think you could probably use either one. You might want to try Extreme. Yeah. Extreme beige. Yeah. That's Lauren.
Yeah.
Get your face over here. Lauren is our light. Get her in.
Hi.
Yeah, so we'll hold up our arms for you.
Yes, okay.
So you can see she's got a little more golden. I'm a little more neutral. I even look pink, but if we had somebody pink here, you'd see I'm really not that pink. But so she likes the Extreme. And what about Dewdrops? Which shade works for you in Dewdrops?
Dewdrops, I find that tint 1 is pretty universal. And that's where I am right now, kind of like winter going into spring. I'm a tint 1. In the summertime, I do tan pretty easily. So tint 2 is my bronzed color, so to speak. And it's just barely deeper than tint 1. But I do find that I need that little oomph in coverage during the summer months.
Now, the other thing that you can do is you can turn any sunscreen, we'll be doing a show on this soon, you can turn any sunscreen really into a tinted sunscreen with our Illuminaire foundations. So if you, in Illuminaire, you would be Florentine Fair, and I would probably choose the mattifying formula. You can mix that with any sunscreen, just equal parts, put it on. It gives you a beautiful finish. The Illuminaire has a 21 SPF, so you could mix it with, a stronger SPF, but it gives you a really beautiful color. The other thing is that I even use Illuminaire with Extreme Protect or Eclipse. Even though they're tinted, I still add some of my tinted Illuminaire in there, and it goes on and it's just beautiful. So there's some different ways to play.
I love it. Let's see here. Oh, we just did this earlier. So what is the strongest ultrasound device that we carry?
Oh, thank you for asking us that question.
We did the math.
We went to work on it and we did the math. So the Curve comes in at 40 million waves per minute. That's pretty strong, folks. And the reason why it's so strong is because it's designed for the body. So if you're using this for your face, you're going to want to keep it moving around and don't do as long of treatments. The next winner in the category at 5 million is your TMP. However, with your TMP, you have EMS, which is that electromuscle stimulation I'm not a fan of. So if you use TMP, use it on the lowest setting. That'll give you the lowest setting of the EMS. And that one comes in at 5 million. It was actually 5,400,000 per minute. And then the Wave is 1 million per minute. And this is what I use every day. To be honest, I do my TriWave in the morning with some gel, oftentimes before I even get in the shower. I get my workout, so I'm good and sweaty, and I have lots of salt on my skin to conduct electricity. And I slap on some of the gel. Then I do my TriWave with my MyoLift, and I clear out all that lymphatic areas, do a little bit of lifting. Then I jump in the shower and wash off. And then when I get to the point where I'm mixing my Caviplla with my Emepelle Serum, that's when I'm grabbing my wave. That's why I got myself all mixed up when we were talking earlier. My brain was going too many different directions. But that's when I do my wave and work that foam into the skin. So those are the numbers.
Beautiful. Now, Kathy says that a very reputable doctor told her that at age 75, we lose 50% of our collagen. She loves her Emepelle, and she's hoping that it will help to save her collagen.
Yeah, absolutely. So my understanding is that at 45, in the first year, let's go to Emepelle.
We lose 30% of our collagen.
We lose, yes. So it's actually sooner than what your doctor said, but I don't want to get into arguments, who knows. But the understanding that I have in the studies I've seen is that you're going to lose that 30% in the first few years of menopause, and then you keep losing 2% per year after that. So definitely Emepelle, for right now, Emepelle's the only skincare product I have found that actually goes in and works with the hormones in your skin to keep your skin producing that collagen. And even clients who are doing hormone replacement therapy, they still find this makes a big difference. And what we see is that the Emepelle is going to bring some back and then slow down that loss so it's not as fast. As far as going in, the other things that I've mentioned today, using the TriWave Rejuve, using some ultrasound, these supplements, those other things are also going to help you with that collagen loss and that loss of density in the skin. I'm so excited to have these products and these technologies because just 5 years ago, I didn't have this. We didn't have Emepelle 5 years ago. And I have to tell you, I'm now on year 2 with Emepelle, and I see such a difference in my skin. And we also didn't have that Rejuve waveform. Nobody was using that yet 5 years ago, and now we have it. And between Emepelle and my Caviplla, and also using the Rejuve and just clearing these areas out, I am seeing such a firmer jawline, firmer cheekbones, and I'm going to keep making videos for you guys so you can keep seeing the improvements. But Emepelle, I just applaud you for using that because that has been the biggest game changer for me these last 2 years.
Beautiful. So Lisa wants to know if she were to get one device to help with texture, lifting, and fat rebuilding, what would be your choice?
Lifting, texture, fat rebuilding. What's her age?
She does not say.
And so a couple things. Honestly, if I had to have only one device, and I know you guys are going to say, that's because you developed that device, but there's a reason I developed it, and I would go with the MyoLift TriWave. This is going to take you from now until forever, even if you're just in your 30s, starting with it now and going on. It's so flexible. It helps with acne. So if you're doing the Rejuve settings and you're doing lymphatic drainage, it's retraining your lymphatic system. So 30 days from starting using this, you're going to see many fewer breakouts, especially with adult acne. You're going to see much fewer breakouts because acne is caused by different things at different ages and stages. And when we see adult acne, a lot of that has to do with stagnations, hormone imbalances, all of that. And the TriWave is going to go to work on all of that. Lost my train of thought.
She's looking for firming, plumping,
thank you.
and to help with fat pad loss.
Yes. So definitely I would say this TriWave, because that's where you are going to get the ATP in the cells. You're going to get all that cellular energy happening, and it's going to keep that skin really plump and healthy from the inside out. Now, if that's a device that's a little bit too much for you to start with, then start with a wave. Because the wave you can use when you're cleansing, you can use it for infusing your serums and driving them into the skin, and it's got that ultrasound in it. It can also be helpful, but it's on a much smaller scale than the TriWave is going to do. I mean, people see visible plumping and smoothing of the texture with this device, but when you're wanting to see bigger changes, that's when you're going to want to go to that TriWave. Because with using this for several years, using the wave, I did not get the kind of defined jawline and everything that I get using that TriWave. I know why I lost my train of thought. The other thing that has to do with is each person is different. So I hate to see somebody buy a device, use it once or twice, and never use it again. So you've got to know that you're a committed device user, and you have to know the kind of device user you are, because I find if I have a device I'm only supposed to use once a week, I forget, and I do it once a month, if that. But for devices that I can use every single day, those are the devices that I use continually and I see the best results. So rather than doing one big long treatment once a week, what works for me is to use these devices and use them for 5 minutes or less every day. For this one, it's just, 2 minutes or less. My MyoLift, my TriWave, I'm using it 5 minutes or less every day. And so then it's a regular part of my routine, and I don't forget about it. So you kind of, when I'm making a recommendation for you, you kind of have to figure out what kind of person am I. And if you're just really not sure you'll be good about using it every day, don't spend a whole bunch of money on our gold standard, right? Maybe start with a wave and use it every day. Challenge yourself to use it every day for 90 days. And if you do, then add in your next up device. So that would be my advice.
Love it.
I'm gonna drink some water. Water helps the brain.
Someone asked for thoughts on SolaWave. Is that a safe microcurrent? I'm under the impression that the SolaWave is actually a galvanic current and red light therapy. I could be wrong.
Yeah,
but what are...
I don't know anything about it, so sorry. We don't know what that is. Galvanic can be interesting. We used galvanic, and we were trained in school to use galvanic to reduce inflammation and things like that, especially after somebody's had a brow wax and things like that. We never were trained ever to use it for anti-aging and skin plumping, anything like that. So
I always think of it in terms of just like helping with product penetration, but there are so many more modalities I feel that you could use that for that are more beneficial.
So, everybody's trying to make some money and come up with the newest device, and I'm slow to hop on those bandwagons. It took me a long time even to hop on to LED, and I had to be really convinced and then find the best LED out there before I started using it and selling it. So haven't gotten excited about that technology.
Okay, Lisa saw in a video that you mentioned a serum you never go without. What was it again? I can think of a couple things.
I know, right? For sure. Probably the one thing I never go without would be Neogenesis Recovery Serum. And if that's out of your price range, then go with Neogenesis Skin Serum. Either one of those, we get really amazing, remarkable results, and it's just for your cellular health. Being, like I said, holistic estheticians, we're looking at what's going to keep your skin healthiest from the cellular level, and so definitely Neogenesis and their stem cell cytokines blow everything else out of the water. And we've often talked about, well, if you could just take one brand with you on a desert island, what would it be? And it used to always be Neogenesis for sure. I'm now wavering, and they're gonna have to figure this out, I guess. And the only reason I waver is because they don't have a sunscreen. And I would want to have a sunscreen. So my latest number one brand, I'd have to say, is House of PLLA, because the great serums, they've got the growth factors, peptides, antioxidants, and they've got the sunscreen that even has all of those in it. So I guess if I could only have one product now, this would be my choice, because it's got growth factors in it, it's got PLLA, it's got the peptides in it, anti-inflammatories and antioxidants in it. So if I could only have one thing now, I would probably say it would be that product. But if I didn't have to worry about sun damage, I would 100% it would be just recovery serum.
Let's see here. How do you know which level to set the ultrasound on the wave when delivering product? I've just been doing the highest setting.
Yep, that works. Just all of them. I just go up to 5 on each one. That's great.
Perfect. And then Melissa, oh, that's so exciting, said, I should be getting my skin wand today.
Oh, yay.
I used my Dermadisc yesterday. How would you recommend incorporating both tools into my routine?
So your Dermadisc is something that you're just going to use once a week or once every 10 to 14 days. That's your exfoliation device. Skin wand can be used for exfoliation, but the skin wand on the penetrating setting, so that's the lightest needling setting, not the red light, because that's going to be your exfoliating. But on the skin wand, you can use that on a more daily basis. Use it on the number 1 daily, just to drive some serums into your skin in those problem areas that you have. And then Lauren and I are both, over the next month, we're going to be doing nano infusion facials for you guys. And she's going to do one with one brand, and I'm going to do it with another brand. And so you'll get to see how we actually do a home facial using that skin wand. But right now on that daily basis is putting on your serums and then using the skin wand to drive those serums into the skin. If you need a little extra slip, you can use some Neogenesis moisturizing mist or your Lemieux Isocell recovery solution or a little mist, or you can use your Botnia hydrosol, just something like that to getting that wet after you put on your serums. That moisture helps to push those ingredients into the skin along with your skin wand. And in fact, there's a lot of studies shown with the Lemieux Isocell recovery solution that if you use that after your serums, it drives those serums deeper into the skin. So just putting on your serums, spritzing with Isocell recovery solution, and then using your skin wand to go in and work it into those fine lines and your problem areas. Be good.
Beautiful. And so Sophie wants to know what device helps with developing scowl face where the lips are overturned, so like kind of like the nasolabial folds.
What was the first part of the question? Because all I got stuck on is what causes that?
No, what device you would use to help combat that.
Okay. So the only device that's going to help you with that is going to be your TriWave, because I have just scowl face. So what we have is this overused muscle. Right here we have this ball of a muscle that connects down here, and what we need to do is use your MyoLift, whether you have the QT or you have the TriWave, and you want to use it to stretch this little area out. So you can put one probe on that ball, the frowny ball, right around there, and then you're stretching the fiber out like this, stretching and stretching. And then we are educating using the firming settings, and that's what we're getting in here and making this snarl. Doing these snarl movements, getting in here and lifting up that snarl. And I do that every day for a few minutes when I'm doing my firming. I do the snarl, and I do see it a little bit. I'm getting a little bit of more of an upturn on my smile right there. And otherwise too, it's just having that awareness of it. I smile by frowning. Sometimes so I'm working on not doing that, but definitely lengthening with your microcurrent and then building up on the top, up in this area. That's what's going to do it.
And Sherry wants to know, in your opinion, how does the MyoLift Rejuve compare to the Picotoner? They're trying to decide which device to purchase.
Sure. So Picotoner is the same technology, similar technology. I wouldn't say the same, similar technology to your Clairblend Mini. It's sending out a variable waveform. So, you know, it could be could work fine, but what I have found working with different microcurrent devices that I've been working with is I like to have my waveform separated so that I can do specific moves and things to support that waveform. So if you're just getting a jumble of waveforms, how do you know when you're doing, are you just gonna do lymphatic drainage with all the different waveforms? Are you going to do lifting with all the different waveforms or releasing? For me, it just doesn't make sense. So for me, the TriWave is the best option because I can use the rejuvenating form to do all kinds of detoxing, drainage, and drainage is actually what has created my jawline and really improved my jawline. If you are a younger person, you're under 70 and you're getting a double chin and all this down here, and you want to use microcurrent to lift that, you're not going to be able to lift it unless you're using that waveform that is clearing out and doing that lymphatic drainage, because that is what really defines that V line of the face, is all of that drainage. So to me, it makes more sense to spend a little bit more. If I'm going to take that time to do a treatment every day, I'm going to spend a little bit more and have that ability to do my drainage. And then I'm just going to come in and on erase setting, I'm going to come in and release those tensions around my eyes, right around there. And you can't do that with a Picotoner. It's just a kind of in a different, it's a different direction of microcurrent than the direction that we're going with the MyoLift.
And does the TriWave help with product penetration?
Absolutely. And Picotoner does too. Any microcurrent is going to help you with product penetration. Ultrasound helps with product penetration as well. So absolutely.
And would you feel that, so if somebody has the Wave at home, but they also have the MyoLift TriWave, could they skip using the Wave, or would you still encourage them to use the Wave?
So I would still use both. As I explained to you guys, I often start in the morning by just putting on my Promoter Collagen Gel, grabbing my Wave and my Lift, and doing a little bit of work each day. And I'm hopping in the shower. When I put on my serums, that's when I'm using this Wave to work those into the skin. You can use the TriWave to work things into the skin. You could use the probes that it comes with and just do it on Rejuve and massage it in using those two probes. It's just not my favorite way to do it, and I find I don't do that. And that's when, this is my little hammer, this little buddy of mine. I use it for cleansing, and then I use it for driving those serums into the skin. So I think there's a place in your cabinet for both if you can.
And what is the best LED?
Light stem. Hands down, light stem. There's a lot of Omnilux and all those things and those masks that you put on your face. Essentially, you'd have to leave that mask on for 10 hours to get the same benefit that you're going to get out of using your light stem for 5 minutes. So hands down, it's light stem. And the nice thing about the light stem and the handheld is you can move it around. You can use it all over your entire body, where if you just have a mask that's shaped to your face, it's hard to move it around and use it in other areas. Light stem does also have a dome, and we've thought about selling those at times, but they are super expensive. But just to give you that idea, you know, it's over $2,000 for the dome, and if you compare that to those little masks that you can buy that you stick on that are way less expensive, that just tells you the difference in the quality of the light that you get there.
Also important to remember that you have to use your light stem at least 5 nights per week in order to see those wonderful results. Consistency is key when it comes to the light stem.
And not just light stem, but LED. And any of your LED devices. You've got to do LED a minimum of 5 times a week, and then you start to see the improvements building, because it's at that cellular level, which I love. It's going to work deep and then working its way up, so those cells that are way down there coming up to the surface are going to be healthier and more radiant and alive. So it's not your instant fix. That's what I love. We love things that go to work at the cellular level to make you healthier, your skin healthier from the inside out.
Oh, and speaking of LED, Madeline says, I have the Wave. Can I use that like I would the LED device? I assume LightStim. I don't have LightStim. Do I need to buy that for wrinkles and hyperpigmentation?
Well, the lights that are around the Wave are not as strong as your LightStim. So they're not that professional strength LED treatment. They're support. They do offer a support. It's nice to have on there, but it's not the same as doing a LightStim treatment. Some people have very sensitive skin to hyperpigmentation. If you are prone to hyperpigmentation, this can be a good device for you. What happens with the LightStim is it does have that heat array in it, and when it heats up the skin, if some people with melasma have a heat reaction and their skin produces melanin to protect it from that heat. So if you have hyperpigmentation, this could be a better device for you, but it's still not going to give you, because this has no heat, it's still not going to give you that therapeutic LED treatment. And so what you need to do with the LightStim, if you have hyperpigmentation, is you hold it off the skin just a teensy tiny bit and you move it around. Generally with LightStim, you would hold it in one place till it beeps, then you go to the next place till it beeps. But if you have melasma, what you're going to do is do one side of your face till it beeps, do the other side of your face till it beeps, and you're not going to just hold it in one spot. And then you're still getting the excellent benefits of healthier cells, but you're not triggering that melasma response.
And, excuse me, allergies are terrible here in Sacramento.
They are. We have 2 people home this week.
What is the best item or items for a hanging turkey neck?
Okay, so when we talk about wasting of the skin, you know, we've got all that happening going on here. There's a lot of different things happening. So we've got some fat pad loss, we've got collagen loss, and then we even have that elasticity or texture of the skin is losing that going on. So it's going to take a multi-pronged approach. It has to do with posture. So it's really important to sit up straight. We both sit up straight, not to be looking down all the time, not to have this posture like this, stretching all this out. And it's going to take the rejuve. You're going to need to have the TriWave rejuve setting, and you're going to be needing to use that on your neck and your face. So you've got to think about it, because yes, you want to firm this area, but all of this is going down there too, right? So we want to firm everything. So the TriWave is going to be your very best bet. You're going to want to do a lot of lymphatic drainage, clearing that out. And what happens as we age and this begins to develop is we get a lot of stagnation. When we get stagnation, everything slows down. Metabolism slows down, cell renewal slows down, the skin just gets saggy and pale and lifeless. And so what we want to do is get energy going in there. So you're going to want your TriWave. You're going to want to use the rejuve setting a little bit every day, working on this area. I would also pick up the Lift, because this is the easiest device to use in the neck area and for lymphatic drainage. We'll keep making lots of videos on this so you understand how to do it. And then LightStim would be excellent for you to do your LightStim on there. Set it next to your bed and just do it every night before you fall asleep. And then picking up your Emepelle products and using your Caviplla every day. All of those, taking that multi-pronged approach. Really, I'm kind of repeating everything we said today, huh? Using your collagen love, so that this is going in and stimulating the collagen production in your cells at the cellular level. The liposomal glutathione, putting that energy back into those cells. Then the other thing I have to say to you is get some exercise to where you get short of breath and you do a little sweating, at least 10 minutes every day. 10 to 20 minutes every day. All the studies show that women 70 and over who get that kind of exercise every day have firmer skin. So, and that's just a lot to do with that circulation and fighting back against that stagnation. So this little area tends to get really stagnant. When we're doing facials in the treatment room, our clients often have really dry skin right under here and on their chin, just because there's so much stagnation there. So when you're washing your face, getting in and really being sure that you're really cleansing this area. When you're washing, if you're using your wave, getting in there, getting in that area, lots of massage in this area, all of that is going to help re-energize that neck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if I may,
yes, pipe in.
So it is just because the LightStim is such a wonderful device, and we do see that a lot of our healthy skin clients, you know, have it on hand because we love it so much. We've talked about it often. But you know, there comes a confusion of, well, the Emepelle night cream has retinol. Do I want to use that before my LightStim? And if I just want to lay in bed and use my LightStim, then how do I incorporate my night cream? And honestly, just make it easy for yourself. Keep your LightStim by your bedside and keep your Emepelle night cream right there as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can put it on after.
Just slap it on afterwards and go to bed.
And go to bed.
Yeah.
And LightStim even tells us that their device is strong enough that it gets through creams and things. So you can experiment with it. It'll depend how sensitive you are to retinol, but you could experiment with putting it on and then doing your LightStim treatment on top of it. As long as you don't get irritation, you're going to be fine with that as well. But yeah, just throwing some things next to the bed that you do at the end of the day.
And I think this is our last one. Callie said, did you say that you could use the TriWave every day? Can I use the QT every day?
You can. Yeah. So when we're using a device every day, we're doing shorter treatments. It's more like a daily maintenance treatment that we're doing, which can be nice if you don't want to spend a whole lot of time, which I don't like to do. So you can use it every day. We're just using it for a shorter amount of time, and I get great results doing that. And for me, and many of my clients find that doing that a little bit every day is better than doing a 20-minute treatment once a week. So experiment with it and see how that works for you. Hey,
that's it.
We did it. We answered all the questions. Thanks, you guys. I feel like I did better today with questions than talking from my head. Just one of those days. I'm so thankful to have Lauren here to help me. I'm like, Lauren, help! What does this ingredient do? I've forgotten.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm going to hook.
I didn't mean to be on screen today, but I do have some Sculptra products on my face that I snagged from headquarters before we came over here. It was meant to be.
Anytime we want to have really good skin for, you know, a quick pick-me-up, that's when we're grabbing our Caviplla or the Sculptra stem cell mist, putting it on, because that's that instant gratification. What's nice to know is that they have these great ingredients in them that they're going to work deep within the skin and also creating healthier cells for you as well. So that's just the beauty of it, is that you get to have the instant gratification along with a long-term building effect. So thanks, you guys. Thanks for joining us today. It's been a lot of fun. Get out there this summer and have fun, but use your antioxidants. Eat lots of berries and use your sunscreen. See y'all later.